Sergeant Major William Harrison stood at the front of a packed military training facility in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. 20 years in the British Special Air Service, combat deployments across the continents. A man who had seen every martial art, every fighting system, every so-called deadly technique the world had to offer. He was not easily impressed. Today's visiting instructor was a Filipino martial artist named Miguel Reyes, brought in to demonstrate Eskrima, a traditional Filipino knife and stick fighting system. Harrison had heard about it before. He'd seen videos online. Street demonstrations with flashy twirling sticks and choreographed movements that looked more like a dance than combat. Ladies and gentlemen, the base commander introduced, Master Reyes has trained military units in 7 countries and Harrison's voice cut through the room. With all due respect, sir, this looks theatrical. In real combat, all that spinning and twirling gets you killed. I've been in knife fights. They're brutal, ugly, and over in seconds. This. He gestured toward Miguel's training sticks. This is performance art. The room went silent. Miguel stood calmly, a slight smile on his face. He was shorter than Harrison, lean, in his 50s with graying hair. He didn't look like a fighter. He looked like someone's uncle. You have experience with blade combat, Sergeant Major? Miguel asked quietly. More than I care to remember, Harrison replied. Real combat, not demonstrations. Miguel nodded slowly. Then perhaps you would help me demonstrate the difference between theatrical and practical. He extended a rubber training knife toward Harrison. You attack me however you want. Use your real combat experience. Don't hold back. Harrison glanced at the base commander, who nodded permission. The other soldiers formed a circle. Harrison took the training knife, feeling its weight. He'd done this dozens of times, disarming demonstrations, control techniques. This would be quick. Miguel stood relaxed, arms at his sides, no fighting stance. Harrison circled him once, looking for tells, for tension. Nothing. The old Filipino just watched him with calm eyes. Harrison struck fast, a straight thrust toward Miguel's center mass, the kind of attack that ends street fights. What happened next? He would replay in his mind for years. Miguel's hand moved in a blur. The knife was suddenly not where Harrison had thrust it. His wrist was trapped. Pain shot up his arm. Before he could process what happened, he was off balance, his own momentum used against him. Miguel hadn't just defended, he'd simultaneously trapped Harrison's knife hand, struck his throat with an open palm, stopping an inch short, and positioned his own training blade against Harrison's kidney. Total elapsed time, less than 2 seconds. Miguel released him and stepped back. Again, he asked simply. Harrison's professional pride kicked in. He attacked again, this time a slashing motion, using his size and strength. Miguel slipped inside the arc, redirected the blade past his own body with a minimal hand movement, and delivered 3 rapid strikes, elbow to jaw, knee to thigh, blade to neck, all controlled, all stopping before impact. Harrison found himself on the ground, not quite sure how he got there. The room was dead silent. Miguel helped him up. In Eskrima, we call this defanging the snake. You don't fight the weapon. You destroy the ability to use it. Your knife hand is the snake's head. But the hand is attached to an arm, controlled by a shoulder, powered by a body. We train to see the whole system, not just the blade. Harrison stood, breathing hard, his professional skepticism completely shattered. How did you? Come, Miguel said, gesturing to the training mats. Let me show you slowly. For the next hour, Miguel broke down what had seemed like magic. Every movement had purpose. The theatrical spinning wasn't for show. It was training the body to generate power from circular motion and maintain weapon control through multiple angles. The footwork that looked like dancing was actually geometry, controlling distance, creating angles, cutting off escape routes. He demonstrated weapon transitions, knife to empty hand, stick to knife, long blade to short blade, flowing between them as naturally as breathing. He showed how Eskrima trained both hands equally. how practitioners could fight with weapons in either hand or both hands simultaneously, how the same principles applied to empty-hand combat, making every limb a potential weapon. In the Philippines, Miguel explained, this was not sport, this was survival. For 400 years, our ancestors fought colonizers Spanish, American, Japanese. We were always outgunned, outnumbered. So we became smart, efficient. We learned to move like water, to use timing and angles instead of strength. To make every technique work, whether you have a machete, a stick, a knife, or just your hands. Harrison watched his fellow soldiers spar under Miguel's guidance. Green recruits who'd looked clumsy with knives an hour ago were now moving with purpose, understanding angles and timing. The techniques worked regardless of size or strength, leverage and positioning over power. By the end of the day, Harrison approached Miguel. I owe you an apology, Master Reyes. I called your art theatrical. I was wrong. Miguel smiled. You were not entirely wrong, Sergeant Major. There is theater in it, but theater has purpose. When you perform a technique 1,000 times until it becomes beautiful, it means you can perform it once in the dark, in the rain, with adrenaline flooding your system, and it will still work. The artistry is not separate from the effectiveness. It is the proof of it. I'd like to learn, Harrison said, properly. Then we start tomorrow, but I warn you, the fancy spinning you criticized. That's the beginner training. The real art looks like nothing at all. Just like what happened to you today. 3 months later, Harrison certified as a level 1 Eskrima instructor. He integrated Filipino martial arts into the special operations training curriculum. When other instructors questioned the techniques, Harrison would smile and say, "Don't take my word for it. Attack me with a training knife." None of them made it past 2 seconds. 5 years after that demonstration, Harrison traveled to the Philippines to train directly under Miguel's masters. He spent weeks in Manila, learning from elderly instructors who had learned from their grandfathers, techniques passed down through generations of warriors who fought for their country's freedom. When he returned to Britain, he opened his own Eskrima school. On the wall hangs a photo from that day at Fort Bragg, the moment right after Miguel had put him on the ground, both men smiling, the beginning of mutual respect. Under the photo, a plaque reads, "The most dangerous thing in combat is not what you don't know. It's what you're certain you know but don't." Harrison teaches that lesson to every student who walks through his door. And when new students see the flashy stick work and call it theatrical, he just smiles and invites them to volunteer for a demonstration. Just like he once did, none of them call it theatrical twice.